Hello. So for today, we are going to start off the 5th grade worksheets with rounding. So the main thing to know about rounding is if the number we are referring to, so for example, let's look at 1, we would have to refer to 3, because this is round to underlying number, to see if we change 9 or not. Only up, remember, we only round up or it just stays the same. If the number is less than 5, there is no change. However, if the number is greater than 5, there is change up. So let's look at number 1. So 2,893, we have to see if we change 9 or not. So let's look at the number next to them, which is 3. And 3 is less than 5, so there is no change. So the answer would be 2,890. And the reason why this turns to 0 is because we refer to this, so this one becomes, this 3 becomes irrelevant, so it turns to 0. Let's try number 6. So 449,958. So we're referring to this 9 over here to see if this 9 changes. And knowing that 9 is bigger than 5, the answer will become 450,000 because we got to move 1 up, but the 9 becomes a 10, so it becomes 50. And the rest becomes 0 because anything beyond this and beyond become irrelevant. Next, we're going to do subtraction. So it says find the missing number. This essentially deals with bigger numbers, but it is the same thing. So let's do number 1. 9 minus 766. Same thing. 9 minus 6 is 3. 8 minus 6 is 2. 9 minus 7 is also 2. And 9 minus 0 is 9. So this answer would be 9,223. However, for example, let's do number 3. We don't know what this is, but we have the answer. So how do we get this x? Once again, all you have to do is subtract this to here. So let's try it. 7,098 minus 7. So 8 minus 2, 6. 9 minus 0. 9 minus 9 is 0. 6 minus 0 is 6. 7 minus 7 is 0. So now that we found this missing blank, the answer is 606. And if you subtract these two, this is the answer you would get. Next, simplifying fractions. Simplifying fractions could be hard if it's a big number. However, all you essentially do is divide numbers that the both numerator and denominator can go by. So let me explain. We have 7 over 56. We have to simplify this. And how you do that is find a number that both 7 and 56 can divide by. So a number that both of these numbers, numerator and denominator, can divide by is 7. So you go 1 over 56 divided by 7 is 8. And since there's nothing that 1 and 8 can do besides 1, that is your answer. Let's look at a bigger number. For example, 56 over 96. So this can be harder because there are bigger numbers that you can divide by. However, if you want to take the easy route, you can constantly divide by smaller numbers until you get it. So let's try finding the biggest number we can. So 56 and 96. We can do 4. Let's try 4. 56 divided by 4 is 14 over 96 divided by 4 is 24. And once again, we see that 14 and 24 are divisible by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And there's nothing 7 and 12 can divide by besides 1, so that is your simplified fraction. Let's try one more. 8. 342 over 40. It's essentially the same thing. You just find numbers that both numbers divided by. Just because the numerator is bigger, that does not mean it's any different. So we can try 2. Let's try the easy way out. 342 divided by 2 is 171. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So let's think. Can 20, the multiples are 4, 5, and 2, 2. Nothing works for 171 besides 1. So this is your final answer. Lastly, we will be working on classifying triangles. So there are 4 kinds of triangles. The most common one is equilateral, which is all sides and angles are equal. Equilateral, equal. Next, we have the right triangle, which is when one of the sides, or angles, I should say, is 90 degrees. So a perfect corner of a rectangle or of a square. Next, we have a scalene, which is when two sides are or angles are the same, but one is not. This is an isosceles. And lastly, we have a scalene triangle, which is when none of the sides or angles are the same. So let's look at number 1. As we see here, none of the sides are the same, so you can automatically say that this is a scalene triangle. Or you can look at by the angles. Number 2, you see that these two sides look the same, and this lower one's completely different. You can also see that this angle and this angle are the same. So this is an isosceles triangle. Number 3, we see that there is a perfect right angle over here, like a square. So this is a right triangle. And number 4, we see that all 3 sides are equal, the same, and all 3 angles are the same. So you get an equilateral. Lastly, 5 and 6, you see that these 2 sides are the same, and this one is different, and these 2 angles are the same, and this very top one is different. So this one is an isosceles triangle. And number 6, we see that there is a perfect right angle, 90 degrees, like a corner of a square. This is a right triangle. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you understood everything.